What's up, everybody out there in League Keeper Sleepers, all you fantasy experts out there? Welcome. I think I'm going to try and go through some of the games this week. I'm going to try and get through all of them at some point. Today being Thursday and all, I'm getting a little late start here. I'd like to start a little earlier, but going to try and see what I can do. I'm going to start with the noon games here. I'm going to work my way down. And just so you know, this is the second time I've had to do this. The first time I got 10 minutes through, and it wouldn't let me upload it through the program I was using. It was too long. So if you don't want to sit here and listen for 10 minutes, it's probably how long it's going to be. Shut it off now. First game I got is the Bengals at the Falcons. Falcons are going to give 3.5 in this game. The Falcons are at home here, and I think that's the biggest key in this game. Last week they lost 31-17 to the Eagles. They just got thrashed. Looked like shit after many called the best team in the NFC at the time. Obviously not looking like a good choice right now after they just got manhandled by the Eagles. Big injury news here. Well, injury in my opinion. Curtis Lofton, a third-year All-American linebacker from Oklahoma. This guy for the Falcons is pretty much the heart and soul of their defense right now, and it's really going to be a shame if he misses any time, because that team really is predicated on him shutting the run down and being able to drop back into coverage. Another injury, Donta Robinson obviously is going to be out this week from that vicious hit he had last week. It's just going to deplete that secondary even more. That just brings me to my next point. I think look for T.O. and Ocho Cinco. Possibly have big games here. Excuse me. Also, said Benson. I mean, this whole Bengals offense could really go off here, but I think they're so Jekyll and Hyde. You really never know what you're going to get with this team. I hate even guessing at a game that the Bengals are involved in, because they could explode, they could fall flat on their face. More times than not, I think they're just going to fall flat on their face. Look for another big matchup in the game. Roddy White, who is he going to be matched up with? Either John Joseph or Leon Hall. I'd probably see Joseph getting the call there, being the bigger guy. But overall, I think Bernard Turner's really going to get a big game here. Fuck you, Grant. Yeah, I said it. Turner's probably going to go off. They're probably going to establish the run early, set up that play action game with Roddy White. I see the Falcons taking this game. You can give the 3.5 points and feel confident. I have no faith in the Bengals in this game. Second game of the week, I got Pittsburgh at Miami. I mean, what can you say about Pittsburgh right now? They are arguably the best team in the league. And honestly, with Jerome Harrison coming off the week's news that he's coming off, the guy's a beast. He's probably going to want to rip somebody's heads off. He's going to have a huge game. He's already an emotional player. He's going to be over emotional for something like this. Look for that whole Pittsburgh defense to really be jacked up for this. Palomalu, you got Ike Taylor on the outside, Woodley and Ferrier. They're real tough. Miami, I know you got a big win in Lambeau last week, but the Packers were really decimated with injuries. They looked like shit. You guys didn't look all that great. Granted, Brandon Marshall, he's a stud. He's a physical freak. He's gonna do his thing every week, no matter who you put on him. I don't care if it's Ike Taylor with Palomalu over the top. This guy's probably gonna get 60 to 80 yards and a touchdown. He's money in the bank, in my opinion. And him and Henny obviously have a rapport going. So there's something to look at there. I really see the Steelers rolling in this one. On the injury news, also, Lasaka Polite, the fullback from Miami, is questionable. He's probably not going to play. That's going to downgrade Ronnie Brown in this game. Obviously, you're not really looking at Ricky Williams at this point in the season. Good old Sticky Ricky. You wouldn't believe how many people in Lambeau had the dreads and the Jamaican beanies and the Ricky jerseys on last weekend, but he does have a nice little following going, but obviously not someone you're wanting to look for in fantasy news. Like I said, I'm taking Pittsburgh and giving a 3 in this game. I think that's a lock. Pittsburgh obviously being the better team. Miami, I think, is overreaching their means right now. I think the bigger news coming from Pittsburgh this week has to be from Mike Tomlin and his comments made by Rashard Mendenhall on how many carries he's gotten this season so far. Really worried about it and his longevity. I don't blame him. The guy's a stud, and you obviously want him for that for the stretch in the playoffs. Look for Isaac Redmond to possibly get 5 to 10 carries in the next few weeks to try and lighten Mendenhall's load. Mendenhall might not be a 20 touch back. He not at this point in the season anyway. You might see come weeks 13, 14, 15, he might get the rock again if they're really in a playoff crunch. But I think that news might really downgrade Mendenhall. But on the same token, I really see Pittsburgh trying to pound the ball here against Miami. They're probably going to open up that play action game with Roethlisberger. You really got to look at Mike Wallace having a big game here. Hines Ward's is a potential red zone target. Heath Miller's coming back from that injury. Pittsburgh's just really looking good. Their defense is obviously the best in the league. So you're really going to want to go Pittsburgh there. Third game, I got Jacksonville at Kansas City. Kansas City giving 6 here at home. Chiefs are 2-0 at home this year, but they're coming off 2 tough losses. Really not looking that good, although Todd Haley somehow says he's taken a positive that their team really looked good and made strides last week. I don't really see it coming from a loss. They didn't look all that spectacular. The story still, or the question's still out on Matt Castle. Let me get this shit together, huh? I don't know if I trust him yet. Obviously, he's going to try and get the ball to Dwayne Bowe as much as possible. I really see Rasheed Mathis not really stepping up and being able to cover Bowe to this game. However, you're going to want to look at Jacksonville's defensive front. This guy, Terrence Knighton, Meatloaf. I don't know if you saw this guy on Monday Night Football, but they called him Meatloaf for a reason. This guy is a tank. They got him listed at 6'3", 336. I don't see anybody moving that guy. I don't see Thomas Jones running in between the tackles. I do, however, see Jamal Charles really being able to bounce some runs to the outside. Look for that guy to possibly have the biggest game of his year so far. Looking to really break out here. He's got the talent. We're just waiting to see if he can put it together and get the touches. I see Thomas Jones not really being able to do a whole lot. Todd Haley's going to roll with Jamal Charles in the second half. Kansas City might blow him out. On the injury news, I mean, I haven't even talked about the quarterback position in Jacksonville. David Garrard's going to be out this week. Trent Edwards showed up with a splint on his throwing hand. I don't know how the guy's going to be able to throw the ball with a broken hand. Sims Walker's also questionable for this game. He's not really fantasy relevant, as everybody probably saw. Scott dropped him. Old Wolfie dropped his keeper, Mike Sims. So I guess he's really not fantasy relevant this week, although who knows, maybe somebody will want this guy. Also on the injury front from Kansas City, this guy Tyson Jackson, second year from LSU, really looked good in the preseason. First game of the year, went down with a knee injury. Todd Haley saying this week he could have a possibility coming back. If he does, look for MJD to struggle even more. That offense is going to be garbage. I know they're probably going to try and establish the run early. If they do and keep the game close, MJD could have a good game, but I don't see that really happening. However, here in my notes, I guess, say I don't see that happening. I do see a possible Jacksonville getting that 6 here. I don't know if I really trust Kansas City coming off those 2 losses to really cover in this game. Jack Del Rio, being a motivator that he is, might have this team fired up. Probably going to run the ball down their throat. If they can get successful with MJD, they have a shot at covering that spread anyway. I say I don't want to touch that game, but if I had to, I'd probably take the 6 and take Jacksonville. On the 4th game, it's my final game here. It's what I got so far. I got Philly giving up 3 points at Tennessee. Excuse me, let me say that again. Philly giving 3 at Tennessee. Philly on the road favored by 3 means in a neutral site, Vegas is giving them 6 points. I see that as being ridiculous. In my mind, the AFC is clearly the better division right now, and Tennessee's, in my opinion, a top 5 AFC team. Is Philadelphia really that much better than the New York Giants and Dallas right now? I know Dallas has got the shitty record and all, but I just don't see it. Kolb's probably a good play this week, being able to dink and dunk the ball off. LaShawn's not going to have much success on the ground, but you might see him catch a touchdown out of the backfield. Macklin's obviously a good play. ESPN's got him ranked in the top 10. Everybody probably knows about Avant being the number 2 split out wide there in Philly. They're going to want to open it up. Tennessee's good on the run. Always have been. It's kind of a staple in a Jeff Fisher offense, or in a defense, excuse me. And like I said, I just don't see Philly being that much better than Dallas and New York. And Tennessee blew Dallas and New York away. They didn't even come close. So for them to be favored by 3 in this game is just ludicrous in my opinion. Really look for Tennessee to exploit them. And just be on a lookout, in my opinion. Kerry Collins is going to start this game. This guy might just take the job over for the rest of the season. He's a proven leader. I don't really see the leadership out of what's his name? That's how good he is. Vince Young. I don't know. It's just something to be a lookout. I think Kerry Collins might take this team and put him on his back and carry him right into that number 1 seed in the AFC. I truly believe that Tennessee's defense might. I know their pass defense is a little susceptible right now, which is why Kolb might have a good game here. But look for them to really try and shore that pass defense up and make a stand against Philly this week and show everybody that they're a contender. That's all I got right now. I'll try and be back with more when I can. All right, peace. Fucking shut this shit off.